You are welcome back to class. Once again, we are progressing as a team. We are progressing. Now, I will be teaching you another African poetry that is interesting. Like the other one I have taught you. So this time around, we will be talking about one of the non-African poetry, which is titled The Proud King. I repeat, The Proud King by William Morris. William Morris. William Morris. So this is a very long poem. Therefore, I am forced to say I have never seen a poem that as long as this before in my life. It's a poem of 849 lines, the longest poem I ever read in my life. And it's also a poem of 119 stanzas. Can you say that? Can you hear that? But the good news about this non-African poetry, which is titled The Proud King, is that it is easy to understand because the message here is simple and straightforward. And when I started dishing out to you, you will see that you have been familiar with it before. You have heard the story that relates to it in the Bible. So for the sake of emphasis, I was forced to write up this argument for you to get the clue of the poem. So join me as I read the argument in order to enhance our understanding together. He said, a certain king, blinded by pride, thought that he was something more than man, if not equal to God. But such a judgment fell on him that none knew him for king, and he suffered many things, till in the end, humbly himself, he regained his kingdom and honor. The Proud King is a poem of 119 stanzas with 849 lines. So this poem started by a folktale, by the Yorkshire folktale. The poem started by the Russian version of the folktale. Of the folktale of riches to rags and vice versa, and rag to riches. The story revolve around a certain king. A certain king called Age, King Age. Age became hungry. King Age became angry, furious, annoyed after hearing a priest says that it is possible for rich to become poor. And vice versa. This statement make the king to be annoyed. The king that is see himself that is more superior to other men, that is comparing himself to God. I say, how possible is this? And this idea is from the Bible. It's gleaned, it is copied from the Bible. King Age was frustrated with the priest. King Age is referred as the proud king in the poem. Was infuriated, furious by this statement. As he wonder if himself could ever be poor again and anything is possible with this life. He was ignorant of that. Be poor. Okay. Be poor. Again. And some beggar become rich. That's a bad comparison. become rich in his stead. He immediately ordered that the priest should be imprisoned as a result of his annoyance. This action, the action of the king, makes God's judgment to fall on him. By the help of an angel who led the king Agi into a thick wilderness and left him there. Thick wilderness, forest. And left him there. And the angel, who is the angel of God, now took the appearance of the king Agi and came to the palace to be ruling instead of the king. And this was unknown to the people of that town. Now, God decided to humiliate and punish Agi for his arrogance on occasion. While on a hunting expedition with some of his servants, Agi saw a deer which attracted his fancy. Pursued he pursued the deer. How God is powerful. And in the process, he followed it across a river and deep into the forest, far away from his servants. Unknown to Agi, the deer was an angel sent by God to deceive him. Thereafter, by God's divine instruction, the angel turned from a deer into the form, physique, and personality of Agi. The angel now take the being of the original Agi and now left him inside that thick wilderness, that thick forest. And the angel now came into the town to come and be ruling in his stead. Then Agi was now masquerading around the wilderness. As Agi go to meet the servants and return with them to the palace where he ruled as Zara king in place of the real Agi. The new Agi became a just ruler who displayed a sense of maturity in everything that he did. He was very responsible and also responsive to the need of the people. So this kind of a play is talking about the actual act King Nebuchadnezzar performed in the Bible. I hope we are all familiar with the heart of Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible, which made God to punish him. This is another story that is similar to this story we are discussing here. That is very similar. This is very similar for the gates of glass of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. His fall had earlier been predicted by Daniel. His offense was that he was attributed his achievement as a king to his power and ability alone, without giving credit to God. God pronounced judgment on him. He loses control of his senses, and he is forced to live like an animal for 7 years. Afterward, he regained the throne as a result of his loyalty and humility to the God Almighty. So in order to shed more light on the poem, I would like to jump to the theme of the poem, which should enhance our scope of understanding as regards the poem. The number one theme of the poem is pride and the vanity of material wealth, which is a good example of the action of the king, the proud king to be precise. The proud king to be, because the king was so rich, he has everything he can ever think of. He now compare himself to a god, see himself as a demigod, and God punish him and make him to learn his lesson in a very hard way that he can never forget. But he now get to a point that he cannot endure the suffering anymore that God has inflicted on him. He now beg for forgiveness, and God so good, who is mercy is infinite, forgive him, and at the end he later regain his throne and kingship. So talking about the themes of pride and the vanity of material life, the poem discussed the tyranny and the arrogance of the king, who is dreaded by everyone, both the mighty and the lowly. He is projected as a demigod who is intoxicated with power. Power make him to misbehave, to talk nonsense. He does not hearken to the voice of others. As a form of divine punishment, he eventually loses his royal status. So for the sake of time constraint, let's move to the second theme of the play, which is the supremacy of God. As a result of his vows, God now showed him his supremacy over him as a God of everything. Are we together? Sorry for that mistake. The supremacy of God over him. The theme run through the poem is that of God's supremacy over mankind. Yes, God is so powerful. Powerful. Powerful to anything. Powerful more than anything. God's powerful. God's ultimate power. Over mankind. That's talking about the supremacy of God. And God proved that in the life of the king. This is the fact that everyone, whether of noble or lowly birth, must accept. The proud king told himself as a god and claimed that he needed no priest. He was severely chastened by God, severely punished by God. The king was severely punished by God until he begged for forgiveness as a sinner, as a lost sinner. God forgive him, and he regained his throne back his kingship. The next theme is the theme of the power of nature. The power of nature. What are we learning here? He said the beauty and vigor that nature embodies is presented in the poem as the king is spurred to live during a tiring journey by elements of nature around him. This idea is highlighted most especially in line. I don't want to talk about the line here, but the line they are so too long. Too long. Nature as an integral part of the landscape of this world is also a reflection of all perverse presence of God in all nooks and crannies of this world. The fishes also represent nature in its magnificence and beauty. The next theme there is the themes of it is seen that death is inevitable. Death is inevitable no matter how long you live. When death comes, there is nothing you can do and you will journey home. So, that is name that we cannot escape death as a human being. We are mortal. We are bound to die when the tenth death comes. And next thing is the impermanence of wealth, status, and position. And this can be seen whereby the biblical allusion say riches can turn to rag, and rag can turn to riches. Poor can be rich tomorrow, and the rich can be poor tomorrow. That is how life goes. Life goes in circle. That you are wealthy today does not mean the people cannot turn around against you in tomorrow. But I pray that we never have a better yesterday. The next thing is the immortality of art. That the work of art will surely last for a very long time. The work of art surely last for a very long time, whether we like it or not. This is an example, a typical example of the work of art, and it has been written for a very long time ago, and it's still a message to the people, to the whole world at large. And the next theme, which is the theme, the corruptive nature of wealth and affluence. That is, wealth will surely make you to misbehave, to make you to be corrupt. And we can see the corrupt art which is being taken, which is being acted by the king. For just word of mouth, he said so they should sentence someone to the prison. That is corrupt nature of wealth and affluence. You are just misusing power. Power. The Christian influence is quoted often in the poem. It can be safely argued that the parable of fish full influenced the poet while giving some of the events and character presented in the poem. The ranger is so happy with his earthly acquisition and position that after juvenile leaves his presence, he asks his servant to bring in a musiker to play some music as though of his life and fear increase of his God. A happy man as he and toward his master felt right loving. The poet also talk about the craftsman who raises himself to be as God, till God good men slew him. The next one talk about the fate of human mind, that the human mind is so weak. Human mind can misbehave at any time. They can be easily manipulated. The next thing talk about leaders are answerable to God for their action. That is, when you are in a position of leader, you think about the thing you are doing, that God is watching you. That being a leader is not by mistake. God deliberately put you there. That no one can make himself a leader. No one can make himself a ruler except God as an name. Like if you have the privilege to be in an office, don't use your office to maltreat others who are under you. The next thing there is sinner must repent of their sin. The king as a sinner repent of their sin, and God in his great mercy forgive the king. The next thing there is the theme of God's mercy is immeasurable. God is so merciful, also compassionate to us. And the next thing there is the futility of life. What is life that we will be killing ourselves? What is life that we will be living as if there's no heaven outside this world? What is life that we will be living life as if nobody can hold us, as if there's no better tomorrow out there? These are many more. The poets want to brainwash us and be filled up with the right knowledge, with the right attitude, for us to have a good thinking faculty, so we can create a world We have created this world to be a better place for all to live, so that this world can be a better place for all to live. Regardless of money, material things, material wealth, and power, it's up to us to make this world a better place. So without wasting much of our time, there are a lot of things that are used here. The next thing is the futility of life, and the next one is power can intoxicate. So we have language and diction and structure of the poem, poetic techniques in the poem. We have alliteration, we have anaphora, we also have antithesis, we have apostrophe, we have biblical allusion, can attest to that. We have contraction, we have dramatic monologue, we have inversion, we have metaphor, we have metonymy, we have oxymoron, we have personification, we have prefiguration, we also have rhetorical question, we have sarcasm, which is not a straight talk, which is not a straight talk. We have symbols. So this poem is there to inculcate us how to live life, to do away with pride, to do, telling you and I to do do away with pride. Pride goes before pride. Pride goes before a fall. We all know that the king later fall at the end of the play, but God have mercy on him and still regain all he has got. Thank you for listening. We are progressing together. I wish you success in your forthcoming examination. You're welcome. Thank you.